Dun, dun.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is the Sunless Citadel, episode 11, Midnight in the Garden of Evil. This is our Dungeons & Dragons mini-campaign featuring some crafty individuals. What started out as, hey guys, you want to play for, I don't know, like 5 sessions on a mini-campaign? Turned into what's probably going to be 12 or 13 sessions. And as we're going to show you in a minute, we are going to have a season 2 starting in January. And right below me, we are going to be adding in a 5th player. So in just a moment, we're actually going to show the teaser trailer for that and announce that new player officially. But yeah, this is our Sunless Citadel campaign using the 5th edition Tales from the Yawning Portal. Sunless Citadel first appeared in 3rd edition of D&D. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it may have actually been the first, if not the first, one of the first modules that came out with the 3rd edition. And it's really cool doing some research to see how it ties into other adventures, both in the Yawning Portal and throughout 3rd edition, that may or may not have a factor on future gameplay sessions. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to let each of these amazing players introduce themselves, tell us who you are, where we can find you, and tell us who you are playing. And we're going to start with... Hold on. Can you guys hear that? I think there's a helicopter right over my house.
Charlie.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
I'm just making sure they're actually continuing on their way.
They came for you. You are using pencil shavings in your crafting, right?
I'm that's the weirdest interruption I've had in a game. We're not that far. I'm about 1.5 miles maybe from the hospital that does have a helipad. But man, that was awful low.
Yeah, we have that too.
That's crazy.
We have a Air Force base that they've brought in President Bush. I think Monday night, and you could hear him go over.
Oh yeah, yeah, because you're right there. Kenosis 007 said special delivery, new player parachuting in.
Right? That was very cool.
So, as I was saying, we're going to go around, let everybody introduce themselves, tell us who you are playing in this campaign, where we can find you, etc., etc. And we're going to go around, we're going to start with Scotty tonight.
Alrighty. Hey guys, DM Scotty here. I am from theDMsCraft, and I like to make stuff for my games, and I like people to be able to watch my videos and make stuff too. So check me out on YouTube, theDMsCraft. Just look it up in any browser, you'll find it. Also, I'm doing a venture with another crafter, Griveth of the DMG Info, and we're doing the Quest Givers. We're doing modules. We got our 2nd module out. We also have a free module out, so check that out. And yeah, I am playing Griveth. He is a paladin of the group. He's a bit of a feisty fellow. He does cause a few problems for the group. The latest is he just alerted a whole room of enemies that were there, so we're kind of frozen in time as we are, getting ready to engage. So we'll see what happens after the introduction.
All right, Megan.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan, and I am one half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, and tonight I will be playing Vi, who right now, as we are kind of in this frozen state, is giving Griveth a very dirty look.
And Jeremy.
Yes, sir. Hey everybody, my name is Jeremy. I have the YouTube channel, The Erasmus Expeditions. I run live plays, have crafting videos where I talk about RPGs, things of that nature. I'm also 1/3 of the Dudes of Your podcast, which with Jeff Doty and Chad Nick. You can also find that over on YouTube. Tonight, I am stepping back into the boots of Talmud, the dwarven barbarian who has the worst luck with dice and traps and everything else involved in that arena. But I love this. I love this group. I love this game. I'm really enjoying this character, despite his huge dice flaws, and I can't wait to get back to it.
And finally, V.
Hello, I am V. I have the YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse, which guess what? I show you how to craft terrain and paint minis and everything like that. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook, and you can find me on Instagram. And you can find me here Monday and Thursday evenings, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Yay! I play Cantriel, the Eladrin elf bard. She is probably the sanest of our PCs, and that's saying a lot for a bard. And she's too, like Vi, is probably muttering under her breath at the gusto that Griveth just displayed towards this bugbear.
And I am MTD Jake, Mini Terrain Domain. This is my channel, where Thursday nights you join us right here for the Sunless Citadel, Sunday nights at 8:30 Eastern for Tomb of Annihilation, Chult of Personality, in which Megan is one of the players. Or you can tune in on Mondays at 8:30 for All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign that will eventually become a Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage campaign. The plan is to run that as a level 1 through 20 campaign for however long that takes. And I do not DM that game. I am a player along with Megan and V, and one of my real life local, I say real life, they're all my real life friends. My local friends here in my same state, Dwight the Big Bearded Nerd, and DM'd by Mike the Piper. So you can tune in for those. I can also be found occasionally appearing on the Dice on Ice channel in games, and occasionally on For More Than One Thing over on Erasmus Expedition. So I highly encourage you to check out everybody's YouTube channels and social media, subscribe, like, follow, all those good things. One last thing, I'm still working on getting the actual advertising elements up. I'm going to drop the link in the chat, but as of Sunday, actually, I think, Saturday or Sunday, Mini Terrain Domain t-shirts are now available. We have 8 different designs. 4 of them feature the Mini Terrain Domain logo, both in the shield and cross tools and castle version, a tavern sign version, one that just says Metade on it, and a 4th one that is the classic Mini Terrain Domain Imagine Build Play. Then we have 3 Chult of Personality and 1 Waterdeep Dragon Heist t-shirts. And I'm coming up with some ideas for some Sunless Citadel for this campaign group, something that could make for interesting t-shirts as well. The link is in the chat. It's redbubble.com/people/mtd-jake/shop. I wish they made their URLs a lot easier, but I'm going to show you a trailer. We're going to show you the teaser trailer for season 2 and what the title of that game will be, along with pay attention to the opening credits in that teaser and you'll see who the new 5th player is going to be. Then we'll get into the recap and the game. So here we go. That's right. Our 5th player joining us in January is Nerdarchist Ted from Nerdarchy. I've actually been playing in a monthly RPG Crate game with a few other awesome players that Ted DMs for just about a year now. Over on the Nerdarchy channel. Like I said, it's once a month. Our day kind of moves around. Ted and I have been talking. Ted's been wanting to get into an RP heavy game. I invited him and we realized, hey, we're going to be doing a new season of this game and there's a perfect place for you to jump in. Would you be interested? And he said, hell yeah, or something along those lines. So yeah, starting in January, probably the first or second week of January, Ted will be joining us for season 2, The Forge of Fury, which the astute observer, listener, watcher of this game may have seen or recognized some clues that have been dropped in this adventure that will tie to the second one. So with that, real quick, you see below me, we're going to have to move it up into the corner or something when Ted gets here, but we've got our domain dice. If you would like to, although the players have 18 domain dice at their disposal, mostly thanks to Chameleon Fam, but domain dice can be purchased for a $5 donation or 500 bits on Twitch. The donation bar is below the video. There's a button that takes you right to the donation thing. The domain dice lets them re-roll a d20, take the new roll, or force me to re-roll a d20. It's just a way that you can participate in the stream. Now, we need to get playing some D&D. Who would like to recap for a point of inspiration? Dun 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 dun. Because I'll take that point of inspiration for myself. To counteract a domain die. If somebody doesn't do it. Okay.
Jeremy.
So, we were hired by the people of Oakhurst to get to the bottom of their apple problem. This goblin shows up every year, bringing them this apple that will heal anyone, cure them of any disease with one single bite. And but they have been trying to plant the saplings grown from the seeds of this apple tree, and they always fail for some reason. They can't figure out why. So they figured out that they're nestled down in the Sunless Citadel, so we've headed out that way. And we have found it overrun with goblins and kobolds. We kind of pissed off the kobolds a little bit. I don't remember who did that. I don't think it was Talmud's fault. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But we may have killed a dragon that they thought was holy, maybe, allegedly. And then we ended up kind of working for the goblins, sort of, kind of. We agreed at least to take out their biggest threats in this dungeon, and we've kind of been slowly working our way through there. We've killed a particularly nasty bugbear with some giant rats that was thoroughly disgusting. And we're on our way to meet the wizard. I mean, no, the evil druid, I believe. So, gonna whip his ass.
So yeah, go ahead, Jeremy. Take a point of inspiration. I'll fill in a couple holes real quick. That most recently, the group discovered that in the process of heading to the lower levels, Vi had a nasty fall and nearly died. They faced off against a bugbear that they had previously encountered, who was a keeper of the dragon, but this time he had a couple of dire rat pets that he and the rats took a enlargement potion. He was wearing a horned helm that kind of put Vi into a state where she began kind of wildly casting some magic and transforming, ultimately becoming a wolf that accompanied the party for a little while. You discovered Belak's laboratory, where some goblins told you that he was experimenting on animals and plants and up to no good with the Gulthias tree. They showed you 2 paths you could take. Vi snapped out of her state, reverted back to human form, and promptly led you in the wrong direction. where you encountered a fire snake that Griveth made Griveth or Talmud, I forget which. I think it was Griveth. Made very short. No, it was. I really don't remember. One of these guys made very short work of the fire snake, and they recovered a couple of gems, gemstones worth some money, and they also recovered a greater healing potion from an long derelict shrine. They headed back in the other direction, opened the door into a long grove, like not grove, but like garden area, where a female bugbear wearing an apron and carrying a scythe was tending to the gardens and hadn't noticed them until Griveth shouted in the name of Eldath, and the bugbear promptly turned around, began yelling and charging them with her scythe raised. As she did so, the door to the east and the door immediately behind the party opened, and that is why I would like you all to roll for initiative. I love starting the sessions off with initiative rolls, and you don't even know what I'm rolling for, everything I'm rolling for yet. So that one will be that. I'll get you guys' numbers in a second.
Okay.
I'm trying a slightly different method of tracking initiative, and I'm hoping will be a little bit quicker. Although
so the lower the number, the better, right?
Sure.
That's the difference that you're doing?
Yeah. And then this guy is not right. Where'd my... hold on. There we go. For some reason, one of my creatures disappeared. Let's see. So that's that. Okay.
Scotty, what the...
What?
What did you do? Scotty.
Oh, boy. All right.
I'm trying to get my face in the...
You need
Talmud.
to like tape it.
I was gonna say,
You gotta
like,
put it way in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talmud, what did you get?
I got a 4.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
Starting
Talmud.
already.
Vi, what did you get?
I got an 8.
Griveth.
13.
And Cantriel.
13.
All right. Wow. Those are some low
Yeah.
numbers. I'll just say that 2 things rolled a 19 and a 20.
Oh, for Christ.
And one of them is the bugbear that is
bugbear.
charging at you right now with her scythe raised, screaming, "Hey!" And she comes running in. And Griveth, you're the one that kind of stood foremost. You're the most imposing with your armor. She is going to strike at you. And that is going to be... it's not a surprise, but... yeah. She comes running in, and she's so... Just the way she's charging in, she swipes early, and the scythe just kind of sing and sends a spark off of your shield as she fails to connect. Out of the corner of your eyes, coming from that eastern door, as you're facing into the room to your left, you can see a glow coming into the room. And you see a familiar form as another fire snake joins the fray. And this fire snake comes into the room, and it does have enough room to get to you guys. Definitely enough movement. That's going to be Vi that the fire snake is going for. As this fire snake rapidly comes slithering in through into the room, it is going to first lunge at you, attempting to bite you. Good Lord. That's a 5. It stops short, its teeth snapping shut. You can smell hot brimstone as it snaps its jaws in front of your face. You guys thought I forgot about that.
Mm.
And it quickly whips its tail around. Its tail is swinging towards Cantriel. but I think a 9 misses you as there's this sort of in front of your face. I get 2 attacks right off the bat and they all miss, or 3 attacks and they all miss. Griveth and Cantriel, you both are engaged with creatures and you both get to go at this moment. So decide amongst you who is going to go first.
I'm going to let the loud one go first.
All right.
Not my turn.
So that's Griveth.
Okay,
Nice.
so quickly surveying the situation. Do I see anything else coming in the room?
You do know that the door just opened up behind you.
Oh, behind us. Okay. So if I quickly do a shoot a look back, do I see anything?
You absolutely do. As you glance back, and the only reason it hasn't taken a strike on you yet is it's lowering its massive head to fit through the doorway. Bracing as you hear this kind of ka-thunk as this massive great axe strikes the ground. It's using to kind of lower itself down and shift its horns through the door. The massive skeletal form of a minotaur skeleton. It's in the doorway right now.
Holy.
And it's right behind you, so we'll say that it's, because of where you guys came in, it's about 10 feet behind you.
Yeah.
It also goes before Griveth or after?
No, Griveth and Cantriel are up right now.
Where's the Minotaur in the initiative order?
You don't know.
Oh, okay.
It must not be before us.
I just saw Megan's note. You hear a woof and a pattering of feet. That'd be funny. Vi turns into a wolf and just gets out of there.
They're turning into a cow. I'm sure you'll be safe.
So I want to Oh, should I try to turn it?
The paladin's asking if he should try to turn the undead.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's an undead. Isn't that kind of your thing?
It is kind of my thing. Yeah, it's kind of the thing
Yeah,
I do.
you might want to deal
Yeah,
with
I do that. Yeah.
Give him some cement shoes. There might be something good there.
I just don't know how good that's going to help it. I mean, it would get it away for we get rid of the other stuff. Okay, I guess I'll do that. Yeah.
All right.
I will turn it.
So you are going to use your channel divinity to turn undead, which that's what, a wisdom save?
Yes.
Ooh, that is a natural 5. So that's a 4 on its wisdom save.
Okay. That's definitely not a save.
So what does your channel divinity look like? This is the first time you've used it, isn't it?
I did use it one other time on the skeletons.
So what does this look like as you use this on this minotaur that's trying to come down through the door?
Yeah, so I'm kind of like, the bugbear's charging me. I just glanced the blow off my shield, and I kind of whip around and see this thing like, like coming through the door, and I realize that we're kind of in a military situation. We're in a bad spot because we're essentially like sandwiched between the two forces, right? So this is not a good thing. And we have some friends that aren't, so don't have as much armor as I do. So that's not a good situation, having the enemy at the rear of us. So I decide that I'm gonna call on Eldath, and light. I kind of throw up my mace, and lights. The mace almost bursts like a flash bulb, and then the light shifts through my arm and like down my body, and kind of hits the floor, and then like does rivers of divine power like to the skeleton, then kind of crawls up the skeleton like glowing rivers, and the thing lurches and shudders and then runs away.
Yeah, and is it basically as it's kind of as this happens and you see it kind of lurching and it sort of looks at you and it just does it starts shaking its head like nope, and it just in reverse backs out of the room and just it keeps its eyes on you and it's walking backwards away from you and it refuses to meet your gaze, Griveth, but it looks towards the others and it just points its massive battle axe at them, but it's still moving backwards. And a couple big shout outs while that was happening. The power of Eldath compelled Everjay to drop 1,000 bits, getting you 2 more domain dice that I'm trying to reconcile right now. So you guys are actually at, I'm going to do it this way. You guys are at 20 domain dice because Scraticus also raided the channel with a bunch of viewers at the same time. So that, of course, got you another domain die. Wow. All right. So, Griveth has just turned the Minotaur skeleton away from him. Cantriel, in this same moment, what are you doing as Griveth is dealing with the Minotaur?
The Minotaur. I'm going to be looking at the fire snake. I'm going to narrow my eyes. And I'm going to sing to it. Down a long and darkened hall, we found your little friendy. We killed him dead and took off his scales. We'll do the same to you. And I'm going to use Dissonant Whisper on him.
Nice. Wisdom save?
Dex save? Hold on.
Is it?
It was wisdom.
All right. Let's see.
Come on.
That is a 9.
Oh, he's not going to make it then, is he?
So that's going to be some psychic damage.
Yeah, 3d6. So he's going to be taking... Oh, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful roll. 16 points.
Ooh, nice.
Aha!
As you see, the light physically dims considerably on this fire snake, as its head was more so engaged with Vi. Its tail had flicked in front of you, but it turns and gives you a smoldering look, and not in the sexy way. As you say this, and its light kind of dims, and it just kind of gives a, and there's this a puff of blackened smoke behind you. And Griveth, you see this as you're still looking. The Minotaur lowers its head and kind of paws at the ground, and it lurches forward a second, but then steps back and lurches forward and steps back. It wants to come through this door to get to the others, but it can't get any closer to you. And so that it's going to spend its turn doing nothing. Vi, you are up. Currently engaged with the head of the fire snake.
Cantriel, you see that Vi's teeth begin to lengthen as she almost makes this snarl at the snake, and with one hand raised, her fingernails immediately begin to elongate, and she takes a slash at the snake's head. And that is a 24 to hit.
Miss. No, I'm just kidding. That's definitely a hit.
Doing 10 points of damage.
How do you kill the fire snake?
As Vi rakes her nails across the snake, you can hear this sizzling noise, and you can see that where she had swiped is literally eating away at the snake's this fiery body, and until it's nothing, there's no head left. It's all just nothing, and it slumps down.
And the light goes completely out of it as it turns to a blackened grayish ash dropping to the ground next to you. And technically, I'm not going to do this. Never mind. Talmud, you're up. Technically, Griveth, you should have had an opportunity attack on you because you turned your back on the bugbear. But that was my mistake, so we'll just roll with it. Talmud, you're up. Nothing's attacked you yet, but there's a dead fire snake and an angry bugbear gardener in front of you.
Yeah, Talmud is kind of looking back and forth at these two things, particularly a little frightened by the skeletal minotaur that's pressing in. He kind of takes a half step back from that as he kind of readies Gerta up. He thinks about it. Seems like Griveth kind of has it under control, so he's actually going to pivot on his heels and go to where this bugbear is. He's going to swing Gerta up and around back behind his head and attempt to strike her with it.
And as you're doing that, I just checked. For some reason, Stream Elements isn't notifying me properly. I checked, and our good friend Wylock also donated $10, purchasing another couple of domain dice for you guys. So I'm gonna make sure this is accurate. You're at 22 domain dice.
Excellent.
So you're rolling an attack on the bugbear. Go for it.
I am. I got a 19 on the die for a total of 25.
So yes, that will absolutely hit.
Good. All right. Here comes the thunder. That is 14 points of bludgeoning damage.
Let's see. You strike her with Gerta, and it slams into her kind of in the arm and chest, and you hear this oof, and she kind of just and she looks now to the dwarf that just attacked her, and she raises her scythe to strike at you, Talmud. Real quick before I do that, was that the end of your turn? I don't want to take away any bonus actions or anything if you had those.
I am going to hold on to my bonus action for the moment.
All right.
Talmud, don't kill her.
Here comes the pain. That is going to be... That's going to be a 15 to hit. That hits you? As this scythe comes swinging down.
Oh, hold on. I want to deflect it.
Oh, okay. Using your protection ability.
Mm-hmm.
That is now a 14.
That'll miss.
So you see this scythe swinging in towards you, and Griveth just gets his shield up, and you just hear this horrible as it screeches across the shield, sending sparks flying. And we're back to Griveth and Cantriel.
Thank you, Knight of Smite.
All right, Griveth and Cantriel, what are you going to do?
Okay, I kind of shoot her a quick glance, we seem to be kind of fighting in unison, and I give her a quick glance, essentially, did you want to do something first, or do you want me to do something first?
I'm gonna just turn to the bugbear and I'm going to shout, "You're a rather ugly one. Hard to tell whether you're the man or the woman in the mystery that we have going on here." And do vicious mockery.
All right. So that's another wisdom.
Pretty ugly, yes.
Another wisdom save.
That is, yes, another wisdom save.
That
Oh, come on, girly.
is an 18.
Oh, I didn't understand. Reroll.
What? You don't want to conserve your domain dice?
Not
We have so
tonight.
few of them.
All right. New roll is a natural 18 again.
Oh, are you freaking kidding me?
I double checked it. It is an 18, so she does succeed. So is that no damage on a succeed?
That's a... Oh, stop it. Sorry, the kitten is trying to chew something. No!
in common, she just snarls back at you.
it just nothing happens.
She just snarls back at you.
You're
one to call me ugly. Griveth, what are you gonna do? I'll send you up to the goblins to make elf pudding.
I'm still in my battle stance, and I say, why are you attacking us?
You don't belong here.
We want to see your master. Take us to your master. We won't hurt you.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, natural 20. What, ma'am?
So, what's your charisma?
My charisma is pretty decent. +2.
No.
My persuasion is +4.
Or yeah, +4 for your. So yeah, 24 with the nat 20. And as soon as you say this, something in the way, and as she's looking around, she's looking at Talmud, who just struck her. She's looking at the dead fire snake. It's like she's seeing through her rage for the first time. Seeing Cantriel, Vi, Griveth, the frightened Minotaur skeleton in the background. She looks around. And she kind of realizes she's vastly outnumbered. And you see her relax her shoulders. And she takes a step backwards, planting her scythe like a staff. What do you want with Belak?
So, Griveth, seeing her, back down, he, of course, backs down also, like he lowers his weapon and, makes himself not look threatening. Your master is doing foul deeds. He is messing with the natural order. We just want to restore the natural order. Don't you see what your master's doing?
I know what Belak does. Belak is the natural order.
He has poisoned your mind. We can cleanse it.
I think clearly. For myself.
Live for yourself, not for some corrupted, evil creature. Live for yourself.
Belak makes all these plants grow. Provides the illumination of the lichens, provides growth, food, and prosperity, and has given me the dominion of these gardens. You come in here, swinging your weapons wildly and killing at will. And I ask you, who is the evil one?
We are invaders, yes.
You freely admit this.
We do.
Then why should Belak give you even a moment of his time?
We seek friends that have been lost into this place. Other adventurers. Do you know of them?
Adventurers have been through here. Weak skin bags.
Do they live?
I know not. But the one blonde man, he was easily slain by Durak, who claimed his armor as his prize.
So I turned to my friends like, no.
If you remember, you kind of already knew this.
Oh, that's true.
From when you fought the hobgoblins.
That's right.
The at the well where you came down, you retrieved Talgrin's signet ring and the armor with the Ukrili crest on it. I don't remember if you guys took the armor or not.
I don't think we did. No, we took the ring. So where will you tell us where your master is? So I'm trying to, I'm being, very non-aggressive, trying to put her at ease with my natural 20.
Belak is in the grove. He's probably waiting for you.
Can you show us this place, or can you show us another way in?
There is only one way into the Twilight Grove.
Does she point the way to us?
She does, but just a quick moment.
Okay.
I'm checking something. I'm checking a thing. Why can I not find this? Tell me about your turn undead.
It lasts for a minute.
You don't have to concentrate on it?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So yeah, she says, there is only one way into the Twilight Grove.
Does your master value you? Or are you just one of his slaves?
Gerunda is no slave. I am my own. I willingly serve Belak.
I see. So with her off guard, I'm going to attack and surprise her.
Before you do that, I need to know again what your guys' passive perceptions are. I should have those written down, and I don't.
It's all right.
So what's your passive, Griveth?
My passive is 13.
Cantriel, you were 16.
Yep.
Talmud
I have 12.
and Vi.
16.
So right before this, as she says that she is her own, she serves no one. All of you actually sense that there is movement and sound behind you as the minute has passed, the Minotaur. And I'll still let you get your attack off.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that natural 20, and you kind of had her engaged in conversation, I'm going to let you have it.
So I say, sorry, I must do this. Smack! Oh, that is 17.
That just hits.
Oh, shit. I mean, shoot.
As Talmud has already established, you can swear on my channel.
What's she wearing? I thought she had like smock on.
I was going to say, this one hell of a gardening apron.
What did she what she got in her fur?
It's a thick leather.
Oh, bam! I got 11 points of damage.
And you're using a Morning Star, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, it was 11 you said?
11 points of damage, yeah. I'm max damaged.
Wow. That is exactly, I'm not kidding. That's exactly what you needed. What does it look like when Griveth just catches this bugbear unawares and ends her life? Her life
So,
that was her own.
I'm taking her off guard, keeping her off guard because my posture, I'm not giving a threatening posture, and I'm kind of getting closer and closer to her, and I got my hand is gripping on my Morning Star, just but not giving that indication, and I'm just kind of looking in her eyes and like just and then whoosh, in a vicious arc, the mace the Morning Star comes up, catches her under the chin, and just drives the jawbone up into her skull, and she goes flying back. Blood sprays into the air. She goes flying back, and with like with a big thud, and spores and little plants and dust kind of explode from the ground. And then I turn back to the group, and I'm like, yeah.
And that's about the time you hear the douche, 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 douche as the skeleton minotaur comes charging at the door. And I'm going to make a dex check to see if it can get through the door to strike you. It does. That's a 17 on the die. And it's going to attempt to gore you. So that's a separate roll. That is going to be a 22 to hit you, Griveth. Yeah. That is... Oh, those are 8s, not 6s. As all of a sudden, as you're reveling and taking out this bugbear, you get slammed from behind for 16 points of piercing damage. As the Minotaur skeleton comes charging in, ducks its head at an angle, and just gores into you. As it hits you, you slide a couple feet, and you guys all around you hear this metallic bone on metal, and the Minotaur skeleton is now in the room with you. And Vi, it's your turn.
Vi kind of shakes her head towards the bugbear, and with her eyes closed, she turns to look back at the Minotaur.
1 second. 1 second. I'm sorry. I want to make sure before you do your action, because this could affect it. I need a strength saving throw from you, Griveth.
I got a 12.
So on top of how much did you take? 16? You take another 12 because it charged you. It moved at least 10 feet. It got its charge bonus. So you take a total of 28 points of piercing damage, and you're pushed 10 feet away and knocked prone. So as it slams into you, it still stops right next to you, Vi, but Griveth kind of arches his back and goes flying 10 feet, skidding into a jumbled mess on the ground. And now it's your turn, Vi. That might slightly alter what you were going to do.
Yes. Yes,
What was the damage all day?
28 total piercing.
Okay.
So Vi turns to Griveth. There's a pity and a sorrow in her eyes, but also kind of a disappointment almost. She's not quite sure, but she reaches out her hand towards you, Griveth, as if she was going to offer her hand to help you up, but instead she faces her palm out, and you hear these words echo against the walls, against the room, in this language that sounds like the pouring of water, the rustling of leaves, and lightning, kind of all amalgamated. And she's going to cast Healing Word. And I'm going to cast it at a second level. Sorry, 1 second.
And I can't help but picture that almost like, with all the ways you described it, but also almost like when Galadriel is tempted by the ring, and like your hair's whipping around you, and your voice just takes on even more presence with all these sounds.
And that's going to heal you 9 points.
Thank you. So yeah, you see Griveth, bruised and battered, on the ground. Yeah, he feels this wash over him, and it just you could see him pep up a little bit.
And then she's gonna hit the Minotaur because that was a bonus action. Healing word. Yeah.
All right.
with her quarterstaff. But I'm gonna use a domain die because we have so many.
All right, so that knocks you guys back down to 20. All right.
Because that was a 1. So that is an 18 to hit.
Yep, that hits. Wait,
Okay.
wait, let me double check. Yes, that hits.
Great.
It's an unarmored skeleton.
That does 2 points of damage.
What kind of damage?
Just bludgeoning.
You kind of feel that reverberation through your staff as you strike the thick bone of this skeleton. And as far as you can tell, it doesn't look like it did anything. Mechanically, you did a point of damage to it. It doesn't even notice that you struck it. Talmud.
So, seeing this thing lay Griveth out like last week's leftovers, Talmud is going to turn around on this thing and still having Gerta held kind of at the ready from whenever they were facing off with this bugbear. He's going to start gripping the haft of this maul tighter, and his knuckles begin turning white, and slowly his tattoos start to glow again. Not all of them, just some of them. And this time it's a completely different set. And a spectral form kind of gathers around and near Talmud as he enters a rage and summons the spirit of someone he considers an ancestor, though this spiritual creature is much smaller than you might expect, much smaller than the rest of them. And then he comes out screaming, "I'm bad luck!" As you see Meepo charge forward with the form of Talmud, raising Gerta high and swinging recklessly, of course, at the skeleton.
And 1, your microphone level dropped after you spoke as Meepo. And 2, it just got really quiet. 2, take a point of inspiration.
All right, thank you. Is it better now?
It's not really any different.
Shit. All right. That is a 16 to hit.
That's going to hit.
All right. That is 5 and 6. Is going to be 11 points of bludgeoning damage. In addition, because I am an ancestor path, when I'm raging, the first target that I strike on a turn, spirit warriors start to swarm out from me. Other dwarves start to surround this minotaur and start to try to distract it and swing at it. Until my next turn, it has disadvantage on attacks that are not at me. And if it hits another person, they have resistance to that damage.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you notice as Gerta slams into the Minotaur that no bones crack, nothing breaks, just bone dust rattles away from it. It was a jarring hit to be sure, but the damage was minimal. And let's see. Bugbear's dead. Fire Snake's dead. So Griveth and Cantriel. Griveth, you are prone, so it will take you half your movement to get back upright.
Can I?
Sorry.
I was
Do we
gonna
think
say,
we could shove it back through the door and like close the door?
You can't from where you are. I mean, you can certainly
that's
try.
possible?
You can certainly try.
Okay. So I don't have enough movement to do that.
Let's see. You have 30 feet of movement, correct?
Mhm.
And it takes you 15 feet of movement to stand. Takes half your movement to stand, so you're left with 15 feet of movement. You were knocked 10 feet away. You have enough room. You have enough distance. You can get back to the Minotaur. It's looking pretty. You might even be able to push him back halfway to the door. He's about 10 feet in front of the door.
Okay. Okay. So, you know, I'm kind of, you know, I'm seeing we're in a pretty dire situation. So I'm like, you know, what should we do, my friends? What should we do?
ideally kill it or get rid of it somehow.
We destroy it.
I love it. Oh my god, I love this so much.
Do you sound like Meepo? Okay.
I like
All right.
Talmud doing Meepo's voice.
I hear Talmud say that. I'm like, for Meepo! And so I leap up, run at it, and yeah. I'm going to try to interpose myself between it and my friends, and I'm calling on the power of Eldath. Eldath shall bless my friends with the power to roll better. So I'm blessing the party.
All right, blessings all around. That means you guys for the next minute get 1d4
Yes.
to add to all of your attack rolls and
Saving throws and attack
yep.
rolls. Yep.
saving throws and attack rolls.
All right.
And then it is Cantriel.
Well, I was going to shoot it with my arrow, but someone's in the way.
This thing's pretty big. You can still get a shot on it.
Pretty
Shot
tall.
at
You
it.
can shoot over me.
Okay, I'm gonna try to take one of my +1 arrows and I'm gonna shoot it.
Yeah, this counts as a large creature.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, let's see what happens. That's going to be a 12.
That's enough.
Really? Oh,
it's an
blessed
unarmored.
die.
It's an unarmored skeleton.
Okay, thank God for that blessed die. That was good. Okay, so then that's a very pretty number. So that's going to be 11 piercing.
11 piercing.
Yes.
So as you strike it with this arrow, your arrow actually hits just to the side of the solar plexus and shatters one of the ribs. The first real damage you've seen this thing take, where you can be assured that it took some damage. And it actually sort of glances down at where the arrow went in and kind of rattled around inside. The arrow's still kind of hanging in its rib cage, embedded in where the ribs connect at the spine. And it raises its great axe to strike at Griveth. Wait, no, you didn't run up on it. You blessed him from where you were, didn't you?
No, I ran up to interpose myself between.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, you are absolutely getting attacked. With its great axe. That is a natural 20.
Oh, bravo.
If it attacks anybody but me, it has to
Reroll.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
It's got to
that's right.
reroll
No, is that
anyway.
the,
Sorry.
ancestral?
It's disadvantage because of Talmud's thing. That
Oh,
is a
yeah.
natural 14. But that is a dirty 20 to hit.
Ooh, that would hit. Reroll it.
Oh,
All
right, so now you're going to burn a domain die.
Yeah. Actually, can I burn one of my? Oh no, I can't. Never mind.
All right, so I'm going to re-roll this one more time. I kid you not. That is a natural 20.
Shut up.
I'm not kidding. I rolled the same die 3 times. I rolled a 20, then disadvantage of 14, then domain died it to a nat 20. I've got to get a dice cam set up over here.
that'd
You
be
need
So
to
can
roll
we-
that particular
so-
die.
Can we keep the worst die roll?
Nope. And just as a reminder, the way I do critical hits is automatic max damage, then roll the damage dice one more time. Griveth, what is your total max hit points?
My total max hit point. Let's see. Yeah, my total max hit points are 37.
he has resistance to this damage.
Oh, that's a good thing to know, because I'm looking at the number of dice I'm rolling and I'm like, because you're standing next to a giant minotaur skeleton who's
Right.
raising a massive great axe. So you are automatically, before the halving for resistance, you're automatically taking 28 points of damage plus another 20. So 48 points of damage, which still wouldn't have been enough to put you at auto death. So 48 halved is 24 points of slashing damage as these spirits are kind of floating around and harassing this thing. And it kind of, as it raises its axe, it's kind of moving it around and it swings and it still comes right across you, Griveth. With that, all of that slashing damage. Are you still standing?
I am not.
There's this moment as this axe comes across. The way it comes down, it actually knocks Griveth's shield aside. Comes right across to his chest. You hear the rending of the steel as it dents in a massive diagonal crush on your armor. It cuts you partly in your neck and partly in a gap in your armor. The wind you hear escape from Griveth's chest. And he just instantly, Griveth is slammed. Oh, I knocked something over. Griveth is slammed into the ground. He doesn't bounce. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't move. And it is Vi's turn.
Vi doesn't even think. She kneels down and she covers Griveth's body against this minotaur with her own as she reaches desperately into her pack, takes out all of these salves and herbs, and her hands, you can see they're shaking as she works as fast as she can to try and mix up something while she's holding bandages against the flowing blood. And she is going to use one of her healing kits. And she's like muttering to herself, so she's gonna do healing word as well. If that, I think.
Yes, you can do that because that healing word is a bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you're using you're relying on your instinctual physical medical knowledge and your healer's kit as you just go into battlefield medic mode and you start dealing that. Which that does what? It stabilizes him, and you took the feat, right?
Yeah, so that does 1d6 plus 4 plus hit die. So that's
Plus one of his hit die.
plus the maximum number of hit dice. So +4. So that would be a total +8.
Wait, okay.
Yeah.
And then do your healing on your healing word. So you're infusing your mundane medical treatment with magic.
And she's also going to cast that as a 2nd level spell. So that is... Gosh.
Like all the math.
All the math. Okay, so that's...
Okay, well, here you go.
21 healing. She doesn't even notice that she's muttering to herself and this magic is flowing through. She is just so focused on the actual medicinal part of it that this magical aspect is more second nature to her.
Excellent. Wonderful. Shout out to, I'm going to butcher this, Michael Wayne, who gifted 2 subs in the chat, getting you guys another 2 domain dice, pushing you back up to 21 dice. So, yeah, excellent healing as Vi brings Griveth once again, bringing him from the brink of death and unconsciousness. And Griveth, you are just starting to, you kind of gasp as the breath that was knocked out of you is suddenly brought back in as you see Vi leaning over you. And Talmud, it is your turn. Is it here where the spirit guardians stop at the end of your turn?
It is until my next turn. So yeah, probably the start of my next
turn. Okay. So yeah, so those spirit guardians sort of dissipate, and you're up.
So yeah, they've all kind of disappeared into like wisps of ether or whatever. And Talmud is trying to keep this Minotaur's attention on him. But of course, as Meepo, so he's here, come over here, bad luck here, like that. And as he's kind of like moving almost like in an arc away from Griveth to get the thing to turn, and then he's going to swing Gerta once again. This time, I don't know if he's going to do it. He's not going to do it recklessly this time. Okay, that is a 19.
It's a hit.
Most excellent. All right, let's see. That's 4. This is 10 points of bludgeoning.
As Gerta strikes the skeleton, it's like you're striking steel. You're doing something to it. You can start to see tiny fissures and cracks in the bone. And I would like, Talmud, I would like you to make a insight check.
Here come his dice. Insight. That's going to be a 7.
Okay, carry on.
Thanks.
Actually, because you failed that by... You did fail that by more than 5. I want a wisdom save. Or, sorry, not a wisdom save, a wisdom check.
Okay. Hey. All right. Wisdom check is going to come out as an 18.
You feel that your ancestral connection through this power that you have as a raging barbarian, your connection to Meepo is weak. It's actually not holding. It kind of flickers as if, like, I know this isn't sci-fi, but kind of like a holo transmission in Star Wars kind of there's a little disruption in your connection that seems to indicate a disruption in either your connection to Meepo or Meepo's connection to the spirit world. And with that, we are back to Griveth and Cantriel.
Without even looking, I'm going to fire my next +1 arrow.
Oh yeah, these are magical arrows, aren't they? How many do you have of those?
Bless has stopped because I no longer concentrate.
There's one left after this one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I don't think anybody remembered they had it, but
I don't think they did. Or yeah, I would.
But yeah, the bless did end because Griveth was knocked unconscious.
Yeah, yeah.
That's okay. I got a 23.
Oh, bam!
Definitely a hit.
That's a hit. That's a very good hit. All right, and then that's it's another 11.
Excellent.
I like these arrows.
Again, actually, you know what? I haven't used this in a while. I have a body hit die, a D12. I'm gonna roll.
You used those last on me.
Yeah, I did. Your arrow, just as you're trying to get around it as it's moving and stuff, and because it's so big, you aim a little more towards center mass, and you kind of, the arrow strikes a little bit lower, and you see part of its pelvis actually chip away as the arrow shoots right through it. Your arrows are definitely having an effect on this thing. Griveth.
I'm going to use my bonus action.
Sorry, yes, go ahead.
I'm going to shout to Griveth. I believe something of the more magical nature might be what you're looking for there, and cast Bardic Inspiration on him. But remember, I'm Valor, so those can be used in combat.
Yes. So, Griveth, you are looking up at Vi, who has just resuscitated you, and Cantriel's words are ringing in your ears, bolstering you, as the Minotaur is actually towering over Vi. She seems to be oblivious to it. And you're basically lying at its feet.
Okay, so I take this horrendous blow, picture it in slow motion, Griveth flying back, the only reason he doesn't lose his Morning Star is because he's smart enough to have the leather, wrap or the leather strap around his wrist. So he goes flying back. He's still holding onto his shield, but he just slams into the stone floor, and then like time changes, because like when you're in the spirit world, time is different. It's not the same as what's going on. So everything is like super slowed down in what's going on, right? So this is like, I've only been this close to death one other time. And like this time, my spirit is actually coming out of my body. Okay. I'm rising out of my body, and, I'm seeing the scene in very slow motion, and, my spirit is kind of floating up, and I look up, and Eldath is, her arms are stretching out to me, and, she wants me to come, into her bosom and be part of her. And I see this holy light, and all the pain, all the suffering, everything that I've been through, my trauma that is in there, could be released right now. Like I could go to this light, I could go to this place. And as I'm floating up, I look down and I see my friends, and they're desperately fighting for their lives. And Vi, I see Vi like throw herself over my body. She's desperately, she's doing this magic, desperately mixing these herbs, and, she's not even paying attention to this horrible fate that is like above her with like this horrendous axe that could render in two. You know, I had my armor. I'm a large guy. I'm a fighter. I know how to take blows. She is not. I know she's not the same type of person that, you know, this guy could cut her in half. I mean, it could be horrible. And, you know, I'm like, there's that part of Griveth that wants to go. He wants to go and have peace. Let's be done with it. You know, let's be done with this pain and the suffering that I've suffered. You know, when I almost died before, and I was the last person on the battlefield. I was the last person laying there. I woke up and I was in a field of corpses, and I was the only person alive. And I curled into a ball, and I almost lost myself. And that's when the angel of Eldath came to me, and I was reborn in that moment. And that's when I became, I no longer was Griveth the soldier. I was Griveth the paladin, and I had something to live for. And I have something else to live for. I have these friends. I have these friends that are fighting desperately, and they you know, and Vi has saved my life with no thought of her to her own safety. She has thrown herself down and revived me, and I cannot leave my friends. I cannot leave this situation. So suddenly I'm awake, and I see Vi over me, and the horrible fate that's lurking above her. You know, I'm sorry, Cantriel. I look over and I see Cantriel, and she is, you know, like, you know, this inspiration, like the inspiration that she's giving me is like when that angel came to me and like saved me. And I realized then that I was in love with her. And I'll tell her someday, but it's not, now is not the time to tell her this, right? So I leap up, ready for action, and after that long-winded explanation, I swing into action. And I'm gonna be, let's end this.
Hot brimstone.
So I saw that. I'm gonna smash this thing to smithereens. All right, with my resolve, and hopefully a good roll on the die. All right, 17.
That hits.
All right, I am going to divine smite. All right, buddy. Put some smite on you. 17 points of damage. Holy damage. Holy.
All right, hold on one quick second. So that would be 2.
So badly want to play a gospel-inspired paladin now.
I have a gift from
Could you
Eldath.
imagine?
Smack!
Dude, everything is like a Southern Baptist choir. Oh man,
That's where you definitely would need a few bards around you for the choir factor. Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, now we're gonna have to have another session because my resurrection took like 15 minutes. Okay.
3.
Griveth comes back from the dead.
You just did how much?
17 points of holy smite damage.
So
Smack and smite damage.
basically, I just had to real quick retcon some damage because something did not sound right in the way I was adjudicating the damage. Okay. And instead of being resistant, he's vulnerable to bludgeoning damage.
Oh.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, the problem is the angle at which I have this up on screen is on the edge of my where my bifocals, the excuses. The point is, Griveth, with the recalculated damage and your hit, which is also because it's basically as you strike it, all of this damage seems to culminate. Griveth, how do you end this?
Yes.
All right, you see Grievous, he leaps up with his morning star. It's all, epic and slow motion. He's like, "Leave my friends alone!" And the room almost shudders, like with the holy magic, and the mace glows to a blinding bright white, and it slams into the skeleton, almost like dead center in the breastplate, and it just explodes, and we are showered with just like bone dust, and shards are just ping, 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 pinging all over the room. And then suddenly the room is, the dust kind of settles, and suddenly the room is quiet, and Griveth turns around and says, "My friends, let's continue."
Vi just slowly takes her staff and she just kind of gets up. Her knees are creaking. And
You're covered in bone dust.
yeah.
But yeah, you guys are now out of combat. As the last sound you hear is this massive great axe collapsing to the ground. I love it when paladin moments work out like that. So, in the aftermath of this battle, you now... The funny part is, you guys entered this room and never got more than 10 feet into it, except for Griveth, who was knocked another 10 feet further into the room. But you basically have stayed at the very top of this this area. So to reiterate, you are standing in a large sort of cathedral-like room. It's elongated, but it has a vague sort of cross shape. There's a door open immediately behind you, where into a room where the Minotaur had gone, that you can see into, Griveth, especially you, since you're facing that way. It's similar in size, but missing one of the arms of the cross. And you can see on the far side, about 60 feet away, there's a door in the center of the north wall. The room you're in has a door in the center of the south wall. And there's the open door to the east that the fire snake came through. What would you like to do?
Cantriel's going to walk up to Griveth and she's going to slap him across the face. "Next time, you keep your mouth shut." And she's going to storm away from him.
Talmud's going to lean towards Vi. "Was that for him speaking up? Or was that for the kiss?"
Maybe there's some pent-up emotions that just needed to be released.
I suppose so.
Hot brimstone.
Does she know?
Talmud's going to step up. "Well, the fire snake came out of that door, if I'm not mistaken. The last time that we followed the path of the fire snake, we found 2 rather large gemstones. So maybe it's worth a look."
Do you sift through the ash?
There's nothing in the ash.
Oh, we found it in their nest, right?
Yeah, you
right,
found
right.
it in their
That's
nest.
what you're getting at. I'm sorry. Right.
Talmud's kind of inching towards that doorway.
Well, hold on. We're not after treasure.
We're not.
If we if we find some treasure, I'm happy to give it over to you. But we're here for another reason. Let's not fight everything in here.
I'm hoping that there's nothing left to fight, but maybe.
Of course, Griveth telling you this,
Yeah. Let's not fight everything. Griveth, who instigated every fight so far.
Let's just scream at everything instead.
Maybe who we're looking for could be down this way. He kind of inches a little closer.
Are you trying to convince us that we're going to go fight the big bad guy, or do you want to try and find yourself some nice new shiny bowls?
Well, I don't see why they're mutually exclusive.
I say we go find this corrupted druid, because if we keep fighting other stuff, we're gonna lose our powers. We're gonna be diminished, and we may not be able to stand up to this.
Ah, I see. So whenever you're knocked on your ass, you get a little bit of smarts in your head. Very
It did
nice.
make me realize. Yeah, it made me realize a few things. I'm not invulnerable.
All right.
Far from it.
I let's just say I came to face with my mortality.
And I only have so many of these poultices left. So.
Vegetables.
Yes.
All right. Well, then, which door?
Cantriel can heal. You can heal, right?
Oh, I can heal just fine. However,
Oh.
it seems I was the one doing the damage instead this go around.
Oh,
Have you ever healed me?
The opportunities never come up.
I feel like that's something you should remember.
No, I don't actually. No, I think Vi has been the one to heal him every single time.
No, I mean Griveth. I feel like he should remember that.
Yeah.
One generally remembers the laying on of hands. Hot brimstone.
You all right?
Oh, wait, I haven't shared it on the stream yet.
Oh, dear Lord.
Brimstone.
That was very quick. It's almost like you had it planned.
Yeah, wait a minute here. Wait a
He's
minute.
definitely sitting on that one.
Oh yeah, I've been sitting on that one. I the last time I said hot brimstone, I brought that image up and put it in place with the studio mode, because I forgot. I thought I had shared it on this stream, but we actually used it. It came up weirdly in the All That Glitters game on Monday.
Yeah, because Mike wove it into the story.
Yeah, he wove it into the story. It is now canon.
It's now canon.
It is now canon that Hot Brimstone is written by Griveth Knight and is a Waterdeep bestseller.
Yep. That our ghost likes to read.
Okay, so I have a challenge for you, Jake. You need to put that book in every game that you run.
I pretty much run all my games in Forgotten Realms, so.
Oh dear God.
And Megan's in all my games, so Megan's gonna see.
Oh, poor Megan.
Megan's gonna see
She'll-
it come up
she'll
in
know the
Chult.
inside joke, right? Megan will know the inside joke. The rest of you like,
And Mike's in
I won't
Chult
even
too,
get
so.
Throw it back at him. That'd be awesome. Like it falls out of his pack or something. Please. That would be fantastic. Please, Mr. J.
I'll see what I can do. In the meantime, where would you guys like to go?
so oh yeah.
Where the bugbear pointed Belak would be. That's
Are we all agreed? So as we shuffle up in that direction, it's like I turn to Cantriel and I say, I'll take healing wherever I can get it. I'm often in danger in the front lines, but I would like to see what your healing is like.
why.
Is it as soothing as your song?
Depends on who it's for and how I'm doing it. How bad off are you?
I'm about down half, I think. So I could use some help.
Just gonna hand him the greater healing potion and kind of like slam it into his stomach. Then you take this and learn your lesson, you wee young pup. You don't go screaming into a room and expect someone to sit there nicely and listen to you.
He seems very disappointed when he gets the potion. He kind of looks at it.
She's just gonna keep like walking.
And he's like, why did she call me a pup? Not thinking about like how old you are actually compared to him.
Even if she's an elf, I would not say that to her face.
So what's the greater healing potion?
4d4 plus 4.
Okay, thanks guys.
In stereo.
I always forget what that is.
Yeah, I just said in chat that Griveth flirts like Ross on Friends.
Yeah, he does.
So,
Okay, so we
what's
head to the
your
door.
healing like?
What's it like for you? Can I maybe get a sample? Nope, you get the healing potion.
So, is this as you guys are walking into that room?
Yeah.
So you guys are going to... I know which way the bugbear pointed. I just want to see if you guys remember.
Oh.
Wasn't it to the north?
I just had
Yes.
a near-death experience.
Yes.
Right?
So
north?
it was back into that room that the Minotaur had come from.
Okay.
The Minotaur skeleton. So yeah, you head into this room, and it is about 60 feet across. There is to the east a slight alcove, about 10 feet deep, about 20 feet across, with a door in the center of it. And there's a door in the center of the wall to the north, where there is also another one of these tables and a small wheelbarrow with some basic gardening supplies. There's more of this bioluminescent ivy and lichens and stuff, and just a general growth of sort of undergrowth plants, all with this sort of whitish hue to it, illuminated in a purple glow from the bioluminescence. So, door to the east, door to the north. I'm going to start
Anybody
rolling
wanna-
random encounters.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
1d6 Minotaur skeletons.
Is there any difference between the doors?
I'm gonna go. Up and,
One is to the east and one is to the north. No,
I
they're
wanna go
both
listen.
they're both heavy wooden iron banded doors, like you've been encountering throughout a lot of this.
Vi, is there any way you can lead us to this druid? I know we've talked about this before, but is there anything you can tell us to help us?
Vi looks. I think this door's to the north, and I think this door's to the east.
Bye. Give me an insight check.
21.
Ooh.
Even as you say this, knowing you're being kind of a smartass to Griveth, you find yourself inexplicably drawn to the door to the north. It's not like physical. You just, if nothing else, it just feels like an intuition. Like, north seems like the way to go.
Griveth sees the look on her face. He's like, I think we have our way.
She takes out a rolled cigarette out of her bag, and she lights it, and she blows the smoke out.
Is this a Canadian cigarette?
It's a
Sure.
legal cigarette.
Depends on who you talk to.
Legal in Michigan now, too.
Ooh.
And she kind of points towards the north door. Through there, I think. I don't know what it is.
And Vi, make me a wisdom saving throw.
26.
As you take a drag on your cigarette, you feel it almost like a way that somebody with anxiety has just a habit that helps them to cope with when they sense anxiety creeping up. You sense these dark memories that have been surfacing recently, boiling beneath the surface. But as you take a drag on your cigarette, it quells those memories for the moment.
Yeah, she takes another deep drag. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go.
The sooner we get this over with, the better.
Friends, whatever happens, it has been an honor to fight with you. If we don't take another step, I will thank my goddess. I will thank the universe that we were drawn together for this noble quest, this noble task, and whatever befalls us, the universe and the gods will smile upon us. Now let's kick some ass.
You're starting to worry me there for a moment, Griveth. Glad to have you back. And Talmud will gladly go up to the door first.
Are you going to open it, check it? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm going to open it.
You open the door, and as soon as you open the door, you're hit in the face with the overwhelming stench of rotting vegetation. There's a thick purple luminescence coming from this room. It smells of decayed vegetation, and there's dead plants moldering, the nearly liquefied remnants of goblin bodies and even a bugbear body in here. It looks like this may be some sort of a composting room. Toadstools grow all around the area. The room is about 40 foot across in either way and has an octagonal shape. Stone walls all the way around, except on the angled wall to your left is another door.
Talmud immediately kind of backs away, kind of hitching. He kind of looks at Vi. You knew what was in there, didn't you? Oh, it's full of vegetables.
Vi kind of takes a look in. You have a very odd relationship with vegetables. I feel like it's something we need to talk about after.
Talmud, what I would like to know is, what is it with dwarves and doors?
Did I open it incorrectly?
Why are there so many?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm not really sure. I wish I could answer that, Griveth, but is there another way that maybe we should go?
So, sorry, you said there's a door at the other end of this pile?
Immediately to your left, the room is shaped like an octagon, and on the angled wall to your immediate left, there is another door. It's the only other exit in this room.
Vi would kind of just, guys are all babies, and she would go in and go to the left.
That thing is growing out of that goblin's chest. That's not right. It doesn't matter where you're from.
You haven't seen a decaying body before?
Well, not like that.
Has anybody seen and of course I can't think of what it's called. Annihilation?
No.
Well, okay, so Jeremy's the only one that will get this, but it's very much like in Annihilation. When it looks like the plants are sort of growing out of the bodies, they're sort of almost like the bodies have started to separate, and the vague shape of the goblin seems to be almost comically elongated, but its features have split open into these blossoming mushrooms and bizarre flowering plants. Vi, you walked over to the door. Are you opening it up?
Yeah.
You open the door, and there is a... Sorry, I was looking at the wrong room. There is a hallway that is about 20 feet long that then opens into a larger room that seems to... The bulk of it extends off to the left, and this goes straight south. So you see about a 20-foot by 10-foot hallway that you're standing at the end of, and then you can see on the far side about another 25 feet beyond that, the far wall. So picture kind of like an upside down letter P, or I guess that would be a small letter D. I know I said an upside down letter P. It looks like a small letter D, and you're at the top of the stem. Jeez. It looks like a backwards O.
Okay.
All right, let's press forward.
Yeah.
You can definitely sense less of the rotting vegetation scent, other than what lingers in here as you trek some of this compost into the room. As you head into this room, you see that all around the perimeter of this room, the walls and the ceiling are lined with dragon-carved granite blocks. Though quite a few of them are crumbled and broken, so all around the edges of the room, there is stony debris on the floor. To your right, as you come into the room proper, like I said, it looks like a small letter D. The far wall curves, and in the center, taking up about a 10-foot by 10-foot space on the floor, in that kind of curvature of the wall, is a huge marble statue of a rearing red dragon. The eye sockets of the dragon are empty, but a red glow lingers there, providing a reddish light throughout this chamber. The radiance casts an inky shadow behind the statue's wide wings. In front of this dragon statue is a 5-foot diameter circular tile of dark stone. Runes are carved around the circular tile's inner edge. In the north wall is a door. What would you like to do?
Oh, good. More doors.
I want to check out the runes because I'm assuming it's draconic.
Okay.
Yes, what do they tell you?
So how do you go about investigating the runes?
I'm going to cast light first onto my bow. Why not?
Okay.
So I can see better. And investigate them, I guess. Or should I do an arcana check?
As the white light illuminates the room, you can see that this dark spot on the floor now appears that in the otherwise gray granite stone, this circular rune-edged circle is red. You actually don't need to make any kind of check to read the runes. They're very clear, and you can read Draconic. And the words that you can read kind of all around the inner edge read, "Let the sorceress power illuminate my spirit." Go ahead and give me an Arcana check at this point. So as you're reading these words to yourself, just deciphering what it reads, the arrangement of the runes in front of this statue and within this red circle, you sense that there's power in these words from within the circle.
Well, it's safe to say that this lovely little red dot in this room carries some extra power that might do some interesting things.
While Cantriel is doing all this investigation work, Griveth walks over to Talmud and kind of puts his hand on his shoulder and says, "Talmud, I know you're not a big fan of the Elvish race per se."
Well, there's a long history there, Griveth.
Oh, I understand that. I understand that. But maybe you can help me. How much do you know about elves?
Well, if you're speaking anatomically, not a lot.
No. I mean.
Oh.
I mean, I fancy Cantriel, and
Yes.
I want your help. Maybe romancing her a bit. What can I do? You know elves, right? You know what the perfect thing to romance an elf, right?
Well, they like woodland creatures. Maybe bring her a rabbit or a squirrel. Maybe even a deer if you can happen to find one. I think they like those.
That'd be a little hard to catch. Alive.
Oh, I suppose alive would probably be better. They like trees a lot. Like a lot. Maybe you could bring her like a plant, a vegetable of some kind or another.
Those are all interesting.
Cantriel, make a perception check.
She just got a nat 20.
It only takes you a few moments to investigate the runes around the stone and kind of interpret that it has some sort of magical nature. And despite Griveth's attempts at being quiet, you can hear their conversation. It's not that big of a room. So it's kind of like somebody saying, "Hey, Talmud." He's not being exceptionally quiet in this small space.
Oh, you're done. Did you find out anything?
Oh, I found out more than I ever thought I would.
Oh, good. Glad to hear that. Talon and I were just talking about some dwarvish things,
Hot brimstone.
Have to do with
he just goes like beet red. Hot brimstone.
A little word of advice. Next time you want to get some information about romancing someone or something, perhaps speak to the bard directly.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
And I'm going to turn and walk over to
I'm
mine.
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Cantriel uses cold shoulder. It's super effective.
I'm just like.
So, are you going to do anything or say anything about these runes, Cantriel?
I am Devi.
Oh. All right, then.
You aren't familiar, are you, with sorceresses, are you?
Not particularly, no.
Well, it seems one has been spoken of specifically in this rune collection. Something about their power.
Well,
I'm not.
it actually says sorceress.
Sorceress.
Not sorceress, like a person.
Oh.
But sorceress, O-U-S, like
Okay.
sorceress powers.
Well, that changes things a wee bit. Well, it seems that that lovely little circle over there, give it some power, and it's going to help bring something spirit into light. I don't dare say it the exact wording, but something along those lines.
Give me a history check, Cantriel.
Okay. That's going to be a 17.
And as you're saying this, and you're kind of seeing this statue of this giant red dragon, and the red stone, you're remembering a little bit of knowledge that you pulled when you first saw the name scribed in the runes when you entered the Sunless Citadel. A Chardalon.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that this location is rumored to have once long ago belonged to a large sect of dragon cultists. And you suspect that this may be a shrine directly honoring a Chardalon.
I think we've managed to find ourselves the actual worshipping center of a Chardalon.
Oh.
Oh,
That's-
indeed. Now, which one of these pups would you like to speak to?
Suppose you're not quite on speaking terms with them at the moment.
Oh, my darling Vi, you and I have far more in common together than I have with a certain someone. Let's put it that way.
Vi just kind of nods. She walks over to Talmud and Griveth. There is the summoning spot of a Chardalon, and I don't reckon we want that on our hands, but just so you know.
What do you mean summoning spot? Like actually bring him here? A dragon?
Worshipping spot more, I think.
Oh. Nothing we could use to our advantage.
Griveth, actually, I guess Vi, you also could as well. As spellcasters, you could also make Arcana checks if you investigate the circle. Though you can't read the runes that are written there, you have Cantriel's translation.
Oh yes, that's true.
Or do you? Did you tell them what it says?
I didn't say it exactly because I didn't want to like read it, say it out loud and activate something.
Right. So you do have the general idea of what Cantriel said. So you can make Arcana checks about the nature of this circle if you wish.
Eldath, give me some insight. No. 10.
It's not any particular magic you've ever been exposed to, or arcane sigils or anything.
Right. I'm definitely not trained in that kind of stuff.
What are you doing while they're all investigating this, Talmud?
Talmud is standing well away from this magic circle. He wants nothing to do with it whatsoever. So he is actually investigating the door on the opposite end of the room.
The door is actually to the right of where you this hallway came down and then entered the big room. So it's in the north side. So yeah, go ahead. Give me an investigation check.
Hey, that's a investigation is a 17.
So as you are kind of making your way around to this door, the door looks pretty much like every other door you've encountered for the most part. And as you're kind of looking it over, you kind of look at it this way, and you can see further down the wall, there's one of these dragon carved stones. Seems to be about 10 feet away, seems to be sticking out from the wall slightly.
Like more so than the others?
Yes. Most all of these are pretty flush, except for where they've been eroded with age or through some other means. But this one stone seems to be about a good couple centimeters out from the wall.
Well, being a mason himself, he definitely notices that this is out of alignment, and he kind of looks back at the others, looks back at this one, looks back at the others. He just kind of reaches like the pommel of Gerta out and kind of pushes it, tries to push it back into place.
So you press on it, and as you press it into place, there's a click, and then it sort of slides out a full 3 inches. And you can see that there's impressions on the side of it where one could grab hold of it and pull outward.
He kind of looks over his shoulder at the rest of them, kind of having this conversation by the circle. Kind of reaches out and grabs the thing and pulls it forward.
You find that it comes out of the wall, and that there is a the stone itself is hollowed out, and there's something in the back of the stone. What you can clearly see is a coin purse and 2 flasks.
He'll put the coin purse where he's been kind of putting the rest of the stuff that they've been finding for divvying up later. The 2 flasks he's going to take and kind of hold up and shake on either side of his head.
The flasks have a sort of golden, or more maybe like a brass kind of lining, like a mesh to it. And there is a greenish liquid in it. There are 2 flasks of alchemist fire. It looks like, hold on a second. It looks like first of all, Gamers Theater has just resubscribed for 4 months in a row, which, as you know, grants you another domain die. But those of you watching the stream, can you let me know if it's jittery at all? Looks like my signal's bouncing all around through OBS. We're pinging into red and then back up into green, so I can't really tell what's going on. I'm refreshing, which means I'm going to lose the chat history, but that's fine. I just want to make sure that we're not like frozen or dead or anything. It does look like it's a little skipping a little bit.
Yeah, they're saying it's skipping a little bit.
I don't think I can. I don't think I can kill the OBS without killing the stream. Hold on. I'm going to try something. Got a lot of things open in the background that I'm going to close. I can't close that. Well, the audio, I believe, is still going. And we should be good. Let me know if the audio... no, it's not simulcast, Gamers Theater. Because of Twitch rules, we have to go exclusive to Twitch first. Is the audio coming through all right in the chat? I know it can be a little irritating if the video is skipping a little bit, but as long as the audio is good, we're gonna go ahead because we're getting close to the end of this session anyway. And I'd hate to end it on a weird note. So we'll deal with a little bit of skippiness. Sorry for that slight intrusion, as Talmud has left the building. But Talmud did find a gold purse, or a coin purse with gold coins in it. I don't remember if I said the number. There's 34 coins in there. And 2 flasks of alchemist's fire. So when he pops in there, I wish I knew why when my furnace kicks on, it's causing a disruption in my router. It's very weird. And I'm hardwired to the LAN to the router for my computer.
Is it an electric ignition?
It is. And I know it interferes with Wi-Fi signals. That's
yeah,
one
they
of the,
hooked up on like the same circuit though. Like, is it drawing enough power to drop the lighting a little bit? Because that happens in our bathroom when the furnace goes
that's
on.
not what's happening. It's I've actually done some research on it, and when the electronic ignition kicks in, it emits the electronic signal that it emits creates just a single disruption in that can affect Wi-Fi frequencies. If I was not hardwired, I would have lost the stream completely. It happened to me in the past when we used to stream on Google Hangouts.
Oh, wow.
Did Jeremy say? Oh, yeah, okay. He said BRB.
Yeah, he said be right back.
So while he's BRBing, we'll come back to as he's kind of he's just off by himself and he's just like poking at the stone and finding stuff. You guys are all looking at a red circle with some arcane markings in it that, as best you can tell, Cantriel, there's some kind of magical connection there, connected to the circle, but you don't know you can't quite determine what would happen, or even what to do. So what would you like to do? Talmud, 34 gold coins, 2 flasks of alchemist fire.
Well, I don't know about you, but I have absolutely no intention of summoning anything here, considering we're still trying to find Belak.
I was gonna say we probably shouldn't play with magic. We don't know what it's gonna do.
Well,
Magic is already unpredictable.
Should we go through the door?
You don't know how it works.
Talmud,
Yes.
the door that you investigated is otherwise trap free and seems to be a normal door. So, are you guys just gonna ignore the circle and head through the door?
What do you say, fair one? I mean, Cantriel.
Quite frankly, I'm tired of being underground. I'm tired of not being out where there's fresh air and sunlight. The sooner we get all of this over with, the better.
I agree.
Talmud says, and trees, huh? And he kind of like gives like a knowing like wink in Griveth's direction.
Are you that much?
Vi would look at Talmud just kind of mouth like, don't encourage him.
For your information, it's not the trees I like.
Oh.
And she's going to open the door.
Well.
You open the door, and what you see, the only window I didn't close has my map in it. You come into a relatively small room, 20-foot square, with a door on the far side. This room is filled with leaning and fallen stone bookshelves, some of which have been shattered. Torn and burnt pages, bindings, and scrolls form disordered piles in the corners, but there's a path that's been it looks like all these books and debris have been kicked to the side. You do see within the the debris of scrolls and burned books and ripped books, you can see the occasional unblemished scroll or book. And there's a single door on the opposite wall.
How big can this place possibly be? It's sunk into this, smashed into this ravine. How does it seem to go on and on?
You know, I was kind of wondering the same thing. We saw where it cracked. And if it fell down in here, then how did all of these places stay together? I'm not sure.
I guess it
Well-
doesn't matter. We're here and we have a mission.
Should we press on?
Cantriel, do you want to check this stuff out?
She's already, I was going to say, she's probably checking it out. She's probably already there looking at the scrolls.
She
and
didn't even,
stuff.
she didn't even pay. Yeah,
No.
she's just like,
Anyone who would like to give me an investigation or perception? If you're going to investigate the...
20.
I got an 18
Talwood and Vi, are you not looking?
on perception.
Griveth, you, as you're flipping through, you find a scroll that is perfectly intact. And when you look at it, it is a spell scroll of Scorching Ray. It allows you, and the way I do spell scrolls is anybody can read a spell scroll. Just if you're not a magic caster, you have to make a wisdom check.
Oh,
But
That's
any spellcaster, I don't like fussing around with the minutia of spell scrolls. It's the one thing that I agree with video games about. Anybody should be able to read a spell scroll and cast a spell.
it is a bit fiddly.
So you have found a spell scroll of Scorching Ray,
I think I'll keep it. I have a high wisdom, so
and well, you're a spellcaster anyway, so you don't need to.
Yeah.
Cantriel, you find first. You also find a spell scroll. And in the script written on this parchment, you see the name Melf. The spell scroll is Melf's Acid Arrow.
Nice.
And as you pick it up, some of the debris shifts and a book that was completely burned to ash disintegrates. And you see, peeking through the debris, a red leather tome with its title gilded in gold, dummy. Of course it's gilded in gold.
Yeah, just to
the title
reinforce.
dummy. That's what I thought you said.
The title's gilded in gold, dummy. The title, the gilded, jeez. The gilded title
There you go.
is written in Draconic.
Okay.
And the title of the book is Ishardalon's Dominion. This tome appears to be quite valuable.
Well, this is something that might be rather helpful. This says Ishardalon's Dominion. I'm holding up the book.
Ooh, do you think you can find anything on the statue that we just passed? It might take too much time.
Well, I don't think this is quite the place to sit down and read, if that's what you mean.
Exactly.
I would agree. Yeah.
We didn't have time to go looking for gemstones, but we have time to sift through books? Come on now.
We might be able
Books,
to use these
spell
to our
scrolls.
advantage.
Talmud just kind of starts walking through the path of like cleared books and stuff to the other side.
Do you open the book or flip through it at all?
I'm probably going to do like that quick little, like, flip through the pages, just like do a quick peruse.
Its many pages are filled with scripts and written in Draconic and a few sketches and stuff. You get the sense that you have a book that contains the known lore of Ishardalon. The value of this book in the right hands is probably worth 150 gold pieces, but the knowledge within is priceless.
I'm tucking that into my satchel.
So a Chardalon's Dominion book, worth 150 gold pieces. Go ahead and mark that.
Okay.
Talmud has already shuffled through to the other side. Do you open the door?
Of course.
It opens without issue
Wait.
into a small hallway where you can immediately see a set of stone stairs leading down and to the right. And just for the sake of brevity, because at this point, and I'm not skipping over anything, but assuming, unless there's a reason you would want to stop here, I assume you're going to continue on. The stairs actually lead down, and you get the sense that you are now walking under the room that was sort of the composting room. And when you go about 40 or 50 feet, stairs lead upward. So this hallway seemed to purely be to traverse under that room. You go another 30 feet and you hit the hallway takes a jog to the south. This is a 10-foot wide hallway. When you go about 100 feet south in this hallway, there are two doors, both on the east wall. The first door and the second door are both the same wooden banded doors. The first door you're at, the second door is about another 20 feet, both open to the east. What would you like to do?
More doors.
Whoever it was that hung all of these doors made a very, very fine living.
I would agree that, yeah, they spent a lot on doors.
I guess to the first one then.
Are you opening it, Talmud?
Does a bear shit in the woods?
The door's locked.
Well,
Is that the first locked door we found?
I think it actually is.
Yeah, seems like it.
Yeah,
We're all kind of
No, I take that back.
Like,
There were a couple of stone doors.
Why didn't it open?
There were a couple of stone doors early on that were locked. Back around the poison fountain area, there was that one that was really cold, and a couple other ones that were locked.
I have a rusty key that I found. I doubt very much that it's going to fit, but I'm going to try it anyways.
Interesting.
It was found long ago.
I remember that.
Oh, I forgot you found that, my friend.
Well, here's hoping.
Yeah.
Well, here's what we're going to do. It's been a little while since I've done one of these. A good old MTD percentile check. So I'm going to roll a number to set the baseline. Roll a percentile. I'm going to say that there's a 10% chance that this old key matches this lock.
All right.
So if you end up within 10 on either side of this number.
53.
You slide the key into the lock. You twist it, and it begins to turn. And then it stops. It turns about a quarter of a turn, and you can't get it to turn anymore. It's keyed enough to fit the lock, but not enough to actually unlock the mechanism.
Well, no, not quite. It's close, but nope.
Well, what do we want to do? The problem is if we start bashing on this door, the whole place is going to know we're here.
Well, there are 2 doors.
Yes.
That's true.
Yep. There's another door about 20 feet to the south.
But why do you lock a door?
That is very strange. There's usually, must be for something, but
Vi would sigh and she would hold her breath and shake her head, and you can see her getting very small. Very, very small.
Nice.
Until she is nothing but a little spider on the ground.
so I see what she did, and I gently put my gloved hand down and will gently pick her up and lift her up to the lock and put her up to the lock hole.
Can she get
Good
through
luck.
it?
Good luck,
Or even
little
get
one.
under the door?
Yeah,
Good
you
luck.
could.
Oh, were you trying to go under the door? Sorry.
So
She like pricks your hand a little bit, and then you can see with her little leg just kind of
Retcon.
points down.
well, yeah, and as you kind of hold her up to the lock, you can see that her spider body is just a little too big to fit through this lock mechanism. But you could absolutely fit under the door.
Oh, what was I thinking? I'm sorry. Be safe, little one. And I put her down realizing my mistake.
All right. Vi, you crawl under the door in your spider form. The room, though massive in your eyes, you're still able to retain your human sense of proportion. The room is about 20 feet by 30 feet. A large wooden desk and chair sit in the middle of the room. The north wall and the east wall are lined with rough wooden bookshelves. There's a layer of soil covering the floor. The shelves are covered in scatterings of tomes and scrolls. Fungus lining the ceiling is providing that purplish light. And you can see all around the room various small bushes and pale saplings growing in the soil on the floor. The light seeming to be sufficient enough.
So there's no doors or anything.
There is one door to the south. Another wooden door.
Mm-hmm. So she's going to look back at the door that she just crawled under and look up. Is there a way to unlock it from this side?
There is a keyhole on this side as well. It appears that this door is locked with a key.
Mm. She is going to scuttle along the floor towards the next door and just take a quick peek.
So you're going to look under the door to the south.
Yes. Just quickly.
What you see is there's a sort of stone antechamber that is about 40 feet across. To your right, you can see a wooden door you can surmise is the door that you didn't try in the hallway, the further south one. But the south wall of this room opens up into an immense cavern with high ceilings, bioluminescence all around. You can just make out ruined stone walls, thick briar-like shrubs growing all around. And in this antechamber, just kind of milling around, are about a half a dozen twig blights. And you can see more beyond in the Twilight Grove.
Vi would scuttle back and under both of the doors. And she would immediately turn back into her normal form. And it's almost as if she was holding her breath the entire time, because she lets out this excess of air and she's shaking a little bit. We're so close. The Twilight Grove, it's we're so close. It's just beyond those two doors. And she points to the other one and she says, we can get in through that door. But there's a lot of those tree things.
They seem to respond well to fire. Does anybody have any fire?
Oh, I might just have a little flask of oil on hand.
I think you also have a potion that will let you breathe fire from your mouth, won't you? Won't it?
I think Vi has that.
I has that.
Ah, cool.
Well, you mix oil and you mix fire, and it's a bigger fire.
Exactly. Well, I think I might have a key to the door. Any kind of Hef's Gerta.
So what are you going to do? Are you going to
Unlock the door, my friend.
break the door down? Are you going to try the door to the south that leads to the room with the twig blights?
Talmud's going to look to the others.
It might be best if we don't make a sound. I don't know how receptive they are to noise.
Oh, very well. The other door, then, Talmud kind of says rejectedly as he kind of
You do have
walks
to still
down
get
to
through the other door, though.
So you head to the door to the south. Who's going to attempt to open it? Talmud, the door breaker. Talmud, you reach out. You grab the handle. The door opens towards you. Inside, you see this 40-foot across by about 30-foot antechamber. As soon as the door opens, you see these half a dozen twig blights that were kind of milling about. They all quickly scramble like they were just caught. And they kind of rush around for a moment, and then they sort of stand in a position that 3 of them are flanking the door to the south or to the left, and 3 of them are on the right. Another 4 more twig blights come running in from the grove, so that there's a total of 10 twig blights in this room. 2 rows of 5 standing at attention, creating a sort of curved path leading toward the grove. As you stand there looking at them, in unison, all 10 of them raise one twig-like arm and point towards the Twilight Grove.
Vi, what's going on?
Well, it looks like they're pointing to something.
Oh, why aren't they attacking us?
Perhaps the druid wants to do it himself.
Then he knows we're here. Then he knows we're here. I guess our fate is drawn. My friends, be ready. What say you all?
I say let's go.
Well, I'm not very keen on simply just walking between these things, but I suppose if they're just going to stand there, then so be it. He'll start inching forward.
All right, we're all staying together as we move forward.
You begin moving forward, and as you kind of get in the midst of these twig blights, they all in unison and turn to face the same direction you're facing. And as you walk, they flank you and sort of lead you through the briars and the brambles in this grove. And they help guide you and pick out a path through this area that you can tell as you're walking through here. It's basically difficult terrain. These brambles are everywhere. They sort of guide you through a path where the briars and the thorns are the least thick. But you can sense that quick movement through here will result in a little bit of injury, entanglement perhaps. You can see ruined walls all around the area. In the distance, a couple 100 feet through the cavern to the south, you can just see on the other side of some ruined walls the blackened top of a massive tree. The twig blights lead you towards this walled clearing among the briars. These walls are about 20 feet high, which is about half the height of the ceiling of the cavern. Several varieties of plants grow all around the perimeter of this clearing, including a few suspicious-looking saplings. Though at this point, you've seen these kinds before. They look like still-growing tree blights. But their importance pales before that which stands at the courtyard's center. Beneath the fungal light grows an evil tree. Its blackened, twisted limbs reaching upward, like a skeletal hand clawing its way out of the earth. Before it stands a few more twig blights. There also stands 3 figures. A heavily armored, young human male with a shield and a sword. A blonde, young human woman in a robe fit for a noble. And a middle-aged, bearded human male wearing a hooded brown robe and armed with a staff and a sickle. The younger humans have black eyes and gray skin with the texture of bark. The bearded man pulls back his hood and says, "Welcome to the Twilight Grove. I am Belak, called the Outcast." Vi, I would like you to make an insight check. And I would like you to do so at advantage.
That's a 17.
As Belak, the Outcast, speaks and greets you, his voice seems relatively warm and welcoming, with just the vaguest hint of malice beneath it. But that's not the most surprising thing. The most surprising thing about this man's voice, and even his eyes now, Vi, is this man looks just like your older brother Caleb, the only one who wasn't at home when your entire family was slaughtered. And that is where we are going to end tonight's session. Megan seems stunned.
Whoa.
Even I was starting to get tired of all the doors.
What is with the freaking doors in this one?
There are a lot. You got to admit, there are a lot of doors in here.
There are a lot of doors. And the weird thing is, almost none of them have been trapped or locked. Ah, well.
If you were doing it at the table, it might not be that bad, but theater of the mind is
Confusing.
Yeah, it's like, and there's another door.
Yeah, it's
and another
confusing.
door.
Let's
All
just
these
assume there's a
doors.
door.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of hard to keep it all in
My
track.
lord.
And then they reach the 10th door, and they're like, look, guys, another door. And Talmud laughs, and Griveth laughs, and the door laughs.
And yeah, right, and the door laughs.
I absolutely loved looking the whole time I was saying that last part, looking right at Megan and just seeing Megan's mouth working, trying to form words.
Man.
That was pretty epic.
awesome.
I think my brain is fried after
it's-
this one.
It's pretty much guaranteed that next session will be the series finale, or not series, but the season finale of the Sunless Citadel. Yeah, that Minotaur proved to be a little bit of a challenge for you guys. Fortunately, I realized my mistake, and it came at an epic moment to give Griveth that epic moment. Yeah, even in chat, people were like, I know that seemed like it was wrong. But bless you, Jeremy, and people in chat for not saying, you're doing it wrong. Because you guys didn't know what I was doing, even though apparently neither did I.
I just figured it was some kind of special thing.
It happens. It happens from time to time. In this case, I was only looking at part of the words. Fortunately, I was able to catch it. If not, hey, guess what? I had a buffed, a bone welded Minotaur, I guess. So yeah, that's session 11 in the garden, midnight in the Garden of Evil. No need for me to wait to come up with a title. Session 12 of the Sunless Citadel will be the Twilight Grove, and will be the epic conclusion to season 1, which is a great point. Before we do outros, once again, I'm going to show the teaser trailer for season 2, which also introduces who our 5th player will be. So let's watch that for 1 minute real quick. So that's right, starting in January, season 2 will be the Forge of Fury, and Nerdarchist Ted from Nerdarchy will be joining us in the spot right below me. And we're already been working with him on crafting his backstory and tying him in to the storyline. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But in the meantime, next week will be the epic conclusion to this. If you were watching with us live, or you can only catch part of it, all episodes are available on YouTube. This episode will be available in just a couple days on YouTube. I have to wait a couple days before I can post them. And then next Thursday at 8:30 Eastern, we will be playing session 11. So we're going to go in reverse order. Go ahead, give us your final thoughts. Tell us where we can find you as we prepare to head out of here. Every time I want to call you Vi, I want to correct to Vi.
Right?
In this game, you're Cantriel. Cantriel.
I am Cantriel. Yes, I play Cantriel, and I am the Crafting Muse. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And I basically have a channel that shows you how to craft and make things for your tabletop terrain. And this game is absolutely insane. And the whole twist at the end with the siblings, I'm just stuck in the oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god factor. So yeah, this is gonna be crazy. I can't wait to see what happens.
Jeremy.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Jeremy. I have the YouTube channel, the Erasmus Expeditions, where I run all kinds of different live plays and talk about RPGs and things of that nature. I just started a brand new campaign last week. Jake is one of the fantastic players in that campaign. I cannot wait to see where they take it. Yeah, this game is just every week. You guys just keep me busting a gut. I can't get enough. So thank you very much for letting me be a part of this, and I can't wait to kick this guy's ass.
We shall see. Megan.
Wow. I don't know. That like so I thought it was gonna go one way when you had started talking to me and making me make the checks. I did not ever see that coming. That was so cool. It just yeah, I'm speechless. Yeah, this campaign has been amazing with a bunch of amazing people, and I'm super excited to move on to, or after the conclusion, to move on to session 2, which season 2, not session 2, where it will no doubtedly be keep on the awesomeness that has been had. So yeah.
And I'm going to resist the urge to kind of peel back the curtain since we're on the cusp of the final episode. But since we know that we're going to end next week with that session, and there's still one more Thursday before the holidays, we are going to talk amongst ourselves. I'm thinking we might do that week, we might just do a sort of wrap up campaign, afterthoughts kind of debrief kind of thing, where we'll maybe just for an hour or so we'll get you guys all out of character and just talk about the things you experience and things you're looking forward to in the second session, and that could be fun, and it gives me a chance to kind of peel back the curtain a little bit and show for people that might be, I know we've had a few times people that are new to D&D in the chat, and to kind of give some tips and tricks about both playing the characters the way you guys have been and the way I approach the DMing. Because I so want to tell you something that I gotta wait. Finally, it is Mr. Scotty Hot Brimstone.
Hot Brimstone.
Anything to flash that graphic again. Hot Brimstone.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's like you're just gonna. There's no.
And remember, Jake, you have to have it in every game. So, yeah, I'm DM Scotty, and I'm part of the crafting community with Like V, and yeah, I have YouTube, Facebook, our Tabletop Crafters Guild has some great crafters on there, all kinds of inspiration, that kind of thing. So check us out there. You can easily find us. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and yeah, Griveth has been interesting to play. So it's I just been kind of like I haven't had a big plan with him or anything. I'm just trying to go with the, just what feels right at the time kind of thing with Griveth. And so it's just been a lot of fun, and just bouncing off these wonderful people, for ideas and that kind of thing. So thanks guys for being so great. And, it would gotta be funny. I mean, in D&D, it's a game, right? And it can go bad. Like you can have a TPK, I was like thinking, wouldn't that be hilarious if we all like ended up dying, and like Ted's like, oh, sorry, we're not having to, they're having all new characters.
Well, season 2 is just Ted. Ted now has to gather an all new party.
Yeah, Ted shows up. It's like, where's the party? Well, they all died.
Yeah, maybe I should have held off on that announcement.
That's probably not going to happen, but
I was a little worried when that Minotaur skeleton crit on you, because that giant battle axe is no joke.
I was like, oh crap.
That giant battle axe is 2d12 plus 4.
That's crazy.
So you took an automatic 28, and then I rolled again, and I think I rolled like a 10 or something, 10 or 11 or something. It could have potentially done 56 points of damage to you.
How much you have to do to auto kill somebody?
You have to do whatever their maximum hit points are. You have to exceed that in the negative.
Oh,
so how many hit points did you have left when you got hit? Do you remember?
I think it was like 19, maybe.
So really, I would have had to have done almost max damage, but Griveth actually could have been irrevocably killed at that point.
Right.
And if that would have happened, in all likelihood, the axe would have severed your breastplate, and it would have dramatically changed from a role playing perspective, that scene. So.
Oh yeah, totally.
But yeah, we can tear into that a little bit more in the after show on that following week if we decide to do that. Otherwise, thank you everybody who tuned in. Thank you to the numerous people who gifted subscriptions, who resubscribed, Wylock for donating $10, purchasing 2 domain dice, EverJ, our friend Jason, who donated 1,000 bits for another 2 domain dice. But it's it's kind of that thing where, yeah, you guys have 22 domain dice, but in that situation with the Minotaur, you used a domain die and you still almost died. So the domain dice, that's kind of the balance to them. The fact that you get to use it and then you take the new roll. So it's sort of like, almost like functions like luck. So with that, yeah, oh wow, I just saw what time it was. Oh man. Those, I don't know if those are actually came through as, I don't know if those came through, Joey, as actual cheers. I don't think the bits actually went through on those. It's weird because it's not showing. But our friend Joey, also known as Chameleon Fam, just came in at the tail end there, and potentially just dropped several more domain dice in your laps. So I'll review the tape. But at any rate, I guess Chameleon Fame, you're going to have to check out the VOD when it drops on Saturday. Boom! There they are. Chameleon Fam making sure that his domain dice count. That actually puts you guys up. And this is actually the highest modifier that I made, thinking they're never going to get this high. There's a plus 25. You guys have 26 domain dice. I might see if I can come up with some kind of a mechanical conversion to allow you to spend more than 1 domain die for other features. So I'll work on that. Once again, Chameleon Fam driving the use of the domain dice. But we greatly appreciate that. Even coming in at the end after the game's all over, but knowing that they are pretty much facing their final encounter in the next session. There's a good chance you guys are going to need these things. So with that, we're going to go ahead and call it an end. Make sure you check out, if you haven't already, if you weren't one of the multiple people who followed or subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Head over to YouTube /Mini Terrain Domain, subscribe. I checked today and we were at 8,666. So we're getting ever closer to that 9,000 mark where I will announce a 10,000 giveaway. Also check out Redbubble, search for MTD-Jake. We've got t-shirts available now. Patreon.com/mini terrain domain. I'm just posted about the t-shirts, but also in the new year, I'm revamping some of the stuff with Patreon to make sure you guys that are supporting the channel are actually getting your support's worth. Your support's worth? It's late. I've been drinking. So anyway, check that out as well. Thank you all for being with us tonight. Thank you to Scotty, V, Megan, and Jeremy. We're going to end the stream now the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.
Thank you.